Hello everyone! As you know, we spent quite some time in northern Norway, a couple of months actually. So in this video we thought we'd tell you a little bit about the prices in Norway. Fuel, food, alcohol and how much it cost us to break down in Lofoten. And in the end of this video we have a little tip about how you could save some money on food during your stay. Starting with fuel prices, our tank holds around 200 liters of diesel and the price per liter in Norway was €1.51. So it's quite expensive to refuel the whole tank, but it lasts us for around 1600 kilometers per tank, which is pretty neat. Food costs. We usually ended up spending around 80, maybe €100 per time we went to the shop, even though we mostly bought cheaper products, so it's a little bit expensive there. Meat and cheese are very expensive. And they even have a sugar tax. Candy bars and snacks are super expensive in Norway. If you compare to Sweden, for example, a chocolate bar in Sweden might be €1.4, and then you buy the same bar in Norway, it's €4.5. So it's very expensive to buy candy there, which is good in a way, but really annoying if you want a snack. Alcohol was very expensive in Norway, so if you like an occasional drink, here are some examples. 1 liter of vodka in Norway is €41 per bottle. It's €17 in Germany. And for a bottle of wine, you have to pay in between 12 and €15, depending on the brand, of course. Beer, usually maybe €3 or €5 for one beer, which is very expensive, I think. So bring some alcohol and some snacks if you like, stuff like that, before you go to Norway. So when you stay in a country for longer periods, it might happen that you get some unexpected costs, which we got when Belzebus suddenly refused to start. So we left Belzebus on idle, jumped out to take some pictures real quick, and all of a sudden it just died. And we couldn't really figure out why. We tried to fix it. Luckily we had a friend nearby that could come and help us. We thought it was the battery, but we tried jumping it with jumper cables and it wasn't the battery, there was no problem. So then we took the hood off and we tried with a little bit of start gas just to see if it had some air in the system or something. It ran fine on start gas, but as soon as you stopped a little bit, then it died. When we were troubleshooting the problem, we had our suspicions that it might not be getting fuel to the engine. That's why it won't keep running. And we decided to stay the night and call the tow truck the next day. Problem was, this night the first snow came, so it became pretty cold. And in the morning when we called the tow truck, he had a lot to do because it was the first snow, so he had a lot of cars to pick up. But luckily we had the diesel heater in the bus because it took him almost a full working day to reach us. So meanwhile, that day when we were waiting for the tow truck to arrive, we actually did our van tour, which you can check out here. When the tow truck picked us up, he gave us a ride to the closest workshop, which was in Ramberg. We got dropped off, but it was in the middle of the night, so we had to wait until the morning to get some help. So we spent the night there. The next morning when we woke up, we walked into the workshop and checked if they could actually help us right there and then. They had some time. We got a mechanic that was helping us out and we were fixing and working on it for about 4 hours. He got it working and everything was fine. It started twice in a row when we were trying it out. So we went in to pay. We had to pay €470 for the towing, and then it was €422 for the work that he did. We paid, we were happy, we went out to the bus, and it didn't start. And I tried a bunch of different things, but it just wouldn't start. It was the same problem all over again. So we went back into the shop, talked to them, and asked if they could help us some more then, at least so we could start the car, which was the plan from the beginning. But then they said, or the guy who was helping us out, it was really bad weather that day, and it was really annoying because it's not so much space. So he said that it was very uncomfortable working there, so he didn't want to do it. And we were just standing there, we really didn't understand. But we came to an agreement that knew that he had a spare part that would work, and he would bring it the next day for us. So we had to stay another night, and the next day we actually got the part from the guy, and I went about trying to change it myself, which took probably way longer. Took almost the whole day. So we got to the workshop. We got some help yesterday with locating the problem, and it turns out it's probably this thing that we thought it was from the beginning, but we weren't sure. We tried to get around the problem, but wasn't possible. So we got it started for like 3 minutes or something, and we hoped that it would start. It sounded fine and everything, and then we turned it off, went in, paid 400 plus euros, and then we went back to the bus, and when we were supposed to start to leave, it doesn't start again. It just dies on us. So that kind of sucked. So we went in again and asked if they could continue fixing the problem, because it's a workshop. But they said we gotta change this part, the slave cylinder, I think it's called, with a manual pump on it. And it was too annoying because it's an old vehicle and it's really not much space to disassemble anything around the engine. So they said it was too annoying and they didn't want to do it, which is kind of sad. But at the same time, if you have enough job, of course you can say no to the jobs you don't want to do. But in our position, that kind of sucks for us, because we went to the workshop, we paid them, and we wanted to get the problem fixed. So we got half the problem fixed, hopefully, we don't know yet. But one of the guys that were pretty nice in the workshop, and he actually had this pump lying. It's a similar version, but from a little old Komatsu tractor or something, digger. We're gonna try assembling this part now and flooding the system with diesel again, so we can start and see if it continue running more than 5 minutes. And hopefully we'll have the problem solved. But of course we're gonna order the original part that is supposed to be there. This is just for me getting to the work we got here, so I can continue working while we wait for the new part to arrive. So hopefully this will take us to Reine today. Yeah, let's see how it goes.
Five seconds later.
Get the old car, they said. It will be fun, they said. How come everything is too short? What the heck is going on?
Fuel filter shall be in the way. I know. Let's put the fuel filter here. It will be in the way for everyone trying to do something.
So, theoretically, if we loosen this bolt on the diesel filter and pump this bad boy here, we should get diesel up here, and hopefully we can try to start with the new pump that we got from the Komatsu digger, or wherever he found it from. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's try. Loose! Pumpy pump pump! Okay. I hear air.
Is it working?
No, it's not really working. I'm gonna try pumping the manual thing on the pump he gave us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna crawl under the car so he won't see me. So all of a sudden, by magic, hopefully there will be diesel there. And you'll have to shout.
Okay.
Shout. Let it all out. Anything?
No. Yes.
Yes?
I think something is coming, yes.
It's very nice. Is it running there?
Yes, it does.
Good. Well, that means that the manual pump on the new thing he gave us works. And apparently that one did not work on ours. So we put a brand new one in 4 months ago. And it's broken now. So that's just, yeah, that's, whoops. That might happen, you know? You put new parts in, they break.
It's an old car.
Yep.
Likes old parts.
Yes, exactly. It's like, no, that's too modern for me. Take it away. need some-
Disgusting.
Old shitty pieces from a tractor. That's what I need. Give it to me. Okay. Well, yeah. I really hope this works.
Let's start.
Please work. Please work. 3, 2, 1. Let's hope it runs for more than 5 minutes. Eventually I got it into place and we actually upgraded so we could pump manually now also in worst case scenario. And then we could actually continue driving finally after 3 days. And by the way, we were really lucky that he had a spare part lying around that actually fit our bus, because later on we ordered the original pump to replace because the pump he had given us was from an old tractor, so it's not really the same effect. And we noticed that it's very expensive and it takes a long time to get stuff to northern Norway. We paid 70 euros for that part, and then it was plus shipping. And on top of that, when you got it to Norway, you got to pay 30 euros extra tax for importing it to Norway. It was definitely not worth it. And we had to wait about 2 weeks, I think, before it arrived. And nobody knew where it was. We had to call around for 3 days before we actually knew where it was. So it was super lucky that he had the part that he could just bring us the next day. Otherwise, we would have been stuck on that workshop for over 2 weeks, probably. We usually try to avoid staying at camping sites. But when the weather is bad many days in a row and we have no other way to recharge our batteries, we have no choice but to find a camping with an electric hookup. In Lofoten prices vary a lot, between 20 and 40 euros per night, and that's usually excluding electric hookup and such washing facilities as shower and laundry rooms. On the bright side, campings are usually located in the most beautiful places, where you can have the most amazing view right outside your van. There you go, some examples of the prices and costs that we had during our trip to Norway. Personally, we thought it was a little bit expensive compared to Sweden. Maybe you don't think it's so expensive, maybe it's super cheap for you. But if you're planning a trip to Norway, hope that this video helped a little bit in planning your budget or your future adventures. And now for the tip. If you like us, like foraging and getting your own food, these are some tips for you. First, fishing, very effective. There's so many fish there, it's impossible not to get fish when you're in Norway. It's super nice to fish there. Just make sure that you have the proper gear, a strong line, because there's some really big fish there, so you don't want it to snap if you have a nice fish on. We also picked some edible plants. For example, we made a sorrel soup. You can find them around mountain streams. They like water, so they grow a lot there. Easy to pick. There's also a lot of mushrooms you can pick if you like mushrooms. If you like seafood, we actually did a dish that we can show you with some cockles and pasta and white wine, which was really nice. but you also have a lot of different seafood. You have crabs and other mussels available. You can just read up a little bit on it and probably forage whatever dinner you want there in Norway. It's nice like that, especially the seafood. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.